Karen Curry here, author of the #1 best-selling book, Understanding Human Design, here with your weekly Human Design Evolution Transit Report. My very first astrology teacher taught me that the planets are really our teachers. That the planets, as they move through the celestial realm, send us the energies necessary to support our growth and evolution. When the planets move, they move into positions that give us specific energies that foster our growth. And this is a really important thing for us to remember this year, and certainly starting at the end of this week, because this week we're going to start moving into a longer term transit thanks to the planet Uranus that's going to give us some opportunities for real growth, real evolution, not just on a personal level, you know, in terms of our real life, but really also more deeply on a spiritual level. Not that your spiritual life is actually separate from your real life. They're actually kind of one and the same. But nonetheless, we're really going to be given some opportunities to deepen our spiritual growth and to evolve and grow our spiritual muscles. And certainly that's going to be a theme not just for this week, but ultimately, truth be told, for the entire year. This year has the potential to be a year that brings us some tremendous lessons. The thing that's going to be important for us to understand is, as these lessons happen for us, we really have to be conscious and aware that we are learning. And as part of that learning process, as being students of the world, students of the universe, and certainly students of the planets, that we always have an option to grow. We have control not so much over life, but we do have control over our response to life. And that's ultimately, as this year progresses, what's going to really make for either a great year or, frankly, a pretty challenging year. So I'm going to start first this week and talk briefly about what's going on in the personal planets, the Sun, the Earth, and Mercury, Venus, and Mars. And then I'm going to shift gears a little bit and talk about Uranus, because we have some pretty significant changes in Uranus this week that may have the power to influence you very deeply throughout the course of this year. So we start the day today, with the gate 41 in the Sun. That solar energy is the last little piece of the New Year energy, shifts out tomorrow as we move into the gate 19. So today, Monday, is the last day for you to really work on finishing up your dreams, finishing up your vision statement. But, you know, we're already kind of moving towards the next phase. So, you know, get ready, because we're going to start swinging into action soon, now that this dreamy phase of the new year has kind of passed. We move on Tuesday into the gate 19 in the Sun, which brings us some really interesting energy too. The 19 is the energy that actually connects us to the natural world or to the animal kingdom. So, you know, great week to spend some time with your pets or to get a new pet. It's also the energy of intimacy. It's half of the channel of love and marriage. And it is also, because of that intimacy and because of that neediness that sometimes goes with intimacy, it is a potential for us to be deeply sensitive, particularly in the context of our relationship. So definitely this week, be aware that you're very sensitive. It's a different kind of intuition than we've been experiencing over the last couple of weeks. We've had a lot of powerful sort of claircognizance in terms of how we have been experiencing our intuition lately. A lot of us have just known things. This is the energy that's more clairsentient in nature. So you may actually have a deep sort of visceral sense that something's off or something doesn't feel right. You know, you may walk into a room and feel the vibes of the room, and you know, that level of sensitivity is really important. That sensitivity, though, can also apply to our relationships and our communication, particularly because there's a lot of potential this week with Mercury in the 30 and Venus in the 38, both kind of fiery energies. There's a lot of energy this week for us to be engaged in intense conversations in our relationships. So be careful of not being too sensitive or overly sensitive, and maybe perhaps taking things a little bit too personally. And also at the same time, as you're engaged in these deeper conversations that are, you know, have the potential to be very meaningful and very transformative in your relationships, be mindful of also being tuned in. You know, listening is really important, and trusting again what you're getting. You might be hearing words, but it feels different than what the words are being said. So be mindful that that gap that you're sensing might be pretty valid. So don't discount what you're feeling and what you're sensing in that respect. Also, you know, a good time this week, if you can, if you're not freezing in the polar tundra and suffering from another polar vortex as we are here in Minnesota, really good time this week to reconnect with nature and get outside. It's a good way to restore and regenerate, because that gate 30 in Mercury can also sometimes carry a burnout theme. So some of us may be feeling like, I've been dreaming for so long and nothing's happening. I'm kind of burned out from my brain. Go outside, connect with nature, Go throw the ball for your dog, do something in the animal world, and really, be mindful of really reconnecting with that natural order. It helps and it restores. I don't need to tell you this from an astrological perspective. This is just actually research based now. There's actually research now that shows that people go outside, their creativity expands. So go outside and be creative. We are grounded this week in the earth with a gate 33, so we have a lot of energy this week that's about looking at the past. Kind of a dodgy thing to pay attention to when you look at the fact that we're going to be possibly having intense relationship conversations. You don't want to be stuck in the past. The ultimate expression, or the high expression of that 33, is about looking at the past, taking the blessings from the past, and moving forward. This is a time to do forgiveness. This is a time to approach the past with compassion and awareness and understanding, and start to understand perhaps why some of the things that have happened this week have happened, or some of the things that have happened in your life have happened, and it's not about holding on to it and staying in blame, but about seeing the root motivations for why perhaps people in your life have done what they've done, and coming at it from a more compassionate perspective and releasing it and letting it go. The past is not going to repeat itself, especially if you let it go. If you keep your focus there, if you keep waiting for the other shoe to drop, it probably will. But if you let it go, if you release it, come from that forgiveness place, the potential that you have for having deeply empowering and loving relationships goes way up, okay? Who doesn't want that, right? Especially when the gate 19 is in the sun. All right, Mercury's in the 30, so our conversations are going to be kind of fantasy-filled and potentially kind of fiery and juicy. Just be mindful of that fantasy component. Make sure your communications are clear, and make sure that you're really speaking to each other with good, concrete language. You don't want to get stuck in fantasies and have expectations that perhaps are not realistic. Venus is in the 38, so we're really looking at what's worth fighting for in our relationship. So pick your battles wisely. That's a big one, especially with the 19 transiting in the sun. And most importantly, really look at what's valuable in your relationship and what are you willing to fight for to make those things that are valuable come forth into form. These are really powerful energies, really, a nice time to really start evaluating the foundation of your relationships, as we've been doing for a while now, but really taking it to the next level and really looking at how can I manifest unconditional love in my relationships in the best way possible. Mars is in the 32, so we have a lot of energy that's about right timing. Trust your gut. If it feels like the timing is right, do it. If you can't seem to get the energy going for it and it's not feeling right, it might be the timing is off. Trust in the divine timing. It'll reveal itself to you correctly when the time is right, and it'll unfold for you in alignment with your human design strategy. So don't push, let it unfold. All right, now we got to talk about Uranus. Uranus is the planet of the unexpected, and it's been sitting around in the gate 17 for a long time now, which has been the gate of opinions, the gate of new logical ideas. It's the energy that brings us hypotheses and sort of all this stuff that gives us new ways of thinking about things from a logical perspective. That's a pretty heavy energy. It's an energy that has hopefully taught us to not listen to other people's thoughts and ideas, but to only listen to your own, especially when it comes to people expressing their opinions about you, So that energy on Sunday shifts into the gate 21. Gate 21 is not always my favorite gate to see. It's an energy that I would consider to be a little bit dodgy. The 21 is the energy of control, and when we have the 21, the high purpose of that 21 is to manage and control the resources so that there will be enough resources available for everyone. We call it the gate of the treasurer, and we don't always like the treasurer. The treasurer wants to put us on a budget. The treasurer wants to be in charge of the resources, and sometimes when we've got things we want to do and the resources aren't there or the treasurer won't let us have it, we get frustrated. The real theme, though, with this 21 is not so much necessarily about finances, although it can be. It really is much more on a subtle level about control. And because it's showing up in Uranus, which is the planet of the unexpected, when I see this combination, I think, okay, we are setting ourselves up on a planetary level to be experiencing things that are going to be unexpected and ultimately learning about what we can and cannot control. There's an ultimate surrender that comes with this energy that teaches us that we're not in charge, that ultimately our greatest power and the greatest amount of control that we can experience in our life comes when we surrender to the unexpected, when we surrender to divine order and we allow the unexpected, the result of divine mind creating rather than our personal brains. And when we let the unexpected come into our lives and serve as our teacher And we control our response to the unexpected, which is really truly the only thing we can control. We can't control life per se. We can certainly influence our intentions, we can set our affirmations, we can, control our vibrational frequency and line up with things, but ultimately the way it manifests is beyond our control. We can, however, control the way in which we respond to it. We can control how much we grow from it. And that's really what's up for us for a while. Things are not going to turn out the way that we expect. And our natural inclination when things don't turn out the way we expect is to want to control them. Your job, as we grow and evolve together, our job really is to manage the way in which we respond to things that happen that are out of control, and to stay in that mindset that allows us to recognize that when things aren't turning out the way that we thought they would, it's for the greater good, okay? And that we've got to find the good and the blessing in it and align with that, rather than despairing because things didn't turn out the way that we'd hoped. There's a lot of energy about the unexpected. We have a tendency to believe that the unexpected is bad. If things don't turn out the way we thought they would, it's going to be bad. It's going to be awful. It's going to be way worse than we ever imagined. And the thing that I want to gently plant into your awareness this week is sometimes the unexpected is quite beautiful and profound and way better than we could have figured out with our little brains. So if you can stay open to the unexpected and trust that even when things don't look like the way you thought they would, they might actually indeed be turning out way better than you ever anticipated, and trust in that and stay in that expectation and really hold that frequency, you're going to have a fabulous year. But if the waves come and knock you over and you don't expect it and you're not prepared and you're not reacting well to it, it could potentially be a really difficult year. So this year, practice aligning with the unexpected. Expect the unexpected by being open to all the possibilities, all the potential manifestations, and trust that ultimately the universe has got your back. The universe has the intention of supporting you fully in the full manifestation of everything you desire. Sometimes it doesn't unfold the way we think it should, and that's okay. Sometimes that's a real blessing in that. Take some time this week and start thinking about what are the things that have showed up in your life that have been unexpected, better than you ever thought, better than you ever imagined, certainly way off the map. I'll certainly tell you in my own life, the greatest blessings that I have in my life have all been unexpected. And for them, for all of those blessings, my husband, my youngest child, all of the amazing things that have happened to me in my own life, I am deeply grateful. I hope that for you all, you can find that place where the unexpected has become your greatest source of blessing, and that you continue to trust in the everlasting, infinite abundance of the universe, and know that that is your birthright, and it's coming to you. It just might not be coming the way you thought it would, and that's okay. Have a wonderful week. I'll talk to you next week.